Once again, the Russians are being accused of funding anti-fracking activism here in North America. Republican Representatives Lamar Smith and Randy Weber wrote a letter to the Department of the Treasury alleging that Russia is using a Bermuda-based shell company known as Klein Limited to move tens of millions of dollars through Klein in the form of anonymous donations to a US-based nonprofit called the Sea Change Foundation. That money is then moved in the form of smaller grants to US environmental organizations to fund anti-fracking activity. These two Republicans want these allegations fully investigated. But it's not just Republicans saying these things. Anders Fogh Rasmussen, Secretary General of NATO and former Premier of Denmark, raised the alarm bells about Russian interference with North American politics via the environmental movement way back in 2014. Just look at this.
I have met allies who can report that Russia, as part of their sophisticated information and disinformation operations, engage actively with so-called non-governmental organizations, environmental organizations working against shale gas, obviously, to maintain European dependence on imported Russian gas. That's my interpretation.
Now, I'm no Russian conspiracy theorist at all, and I think we're all getting a bit of Russian fatigue, but there are some very good reasons the Russians would fund these ignorant dirtnicks to take down the American economy. It's economic self-interest. The United States just surpassed Russia to become the world's leader in natural gas production. And the Russians, well, they just want the rest of the world to maintain their reliance on Russian oil and gas. According to Jude Clement in Forbes magazine, fracking is why Pennsylvania is now producing more gas than all of Canada, and fracking is why North Dakota has been producing as much oil as Argentina and Ecuador combined. So it's no wonder why Russia is funding dirty environmentalists to be their useful idiots and take down a competitor. But that all got me thinking about Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, and the Russian scarebots the American left has become. With all the accusations that the Russians hacked the election in support of Trump, it was Hillary Clinton who took the clandestine Russian position against fracking, not Trump. In fact, President Trump is the most pro-fracking president in history. A key platform of his campaign was energy independence, with fracking at the forefront of that plan. It was Trump, the man accused of being a Russian stooge, with the plan to repeal the Obama-era regulations that are stifling fracking in America. Fighting Trump's repeal of those regulations is exactly what Russia is accused of funding environmentalist groups to do. And being pro-fracking is not a new or political thing for Trump. Just look at this tweet from 2012 where he says, fracking will lead to American energy independence. With price of natural gas continuing to drop, we can be at a tremendous advantage. But on the flip side, it was Hillary Clinton's position that changed during the 2016 campaign to the Russian position. In Edmonton, Clinton gave a speech that was supportive of fracking in 2014. She even admitted she knew Russians were funding environmentalist groups to block and fight fracking in North America. You can find excerpts of that speech on WikiLeaks. Clinton said, and I quote, "We were even up against phony environmental groups, and I'm a big environmentalist, but these were funded by the Russians to stand against any effort. Oh, that pipeline, that fracking, that whatever will be a problem for you." And a lot of the money supporting that message was coming from Russia, end quote. But by the time Clinton's presidential campaign kicked off, Clinton was singing a different tune. She was as crazy and anti-development as Greenpeace, taking the radical position against clean-burning American natural gas. Clinton took the Russian view of American energy independence. During the Democratic presidential debate, Clinton said that if she were in charge, her onerous regulations would result in just a few places in America where fracking will be able to take place. Yeah, that's the Russian stance against American energy independence. Not only was this old crone going to put coal miners on the breadlines, but she was also going to unemploy thousands of Americans who work in natural gas and also make home heating more expensive for everyone else. Oh, the Russians are hacking something, that's for sure, but it's not elections. It's the Democrat Party's stance on American energy independence. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. At The Rebel, we're advocates for Canada's ethical oil and gas industry, and we document all the foreign-funded attacks on it. To never miss a story, be sure to subscribe to our new Rebel Canada YouTube page.